So we are here hanging out at the Causeway Coast Ford Fair. Behind me you will see, underneath a tarp thingamabob, the new Fiesta ST, which we're just waiting for them to do the big reveal of. It'll be maybe about another hour before they unveil that. Even though we've seen it before, they're doing an unveil, but whatever. But while we wait, there's a couple of interesting things around. A couple of really interesting focuses. In particular, one of only 50 Heritage Edition RSs right here, one of the orange ones. And this one, there were 300 of these Red Edition Focus RSs in the UK, but if you notice, this does not have the black roof. This was a mistake from factory that a customer ordered this car in, it arrived without the black roof, and they discovered it and they decided, oh, we cannot sell this. So now this is just unable to be sold. It's just a show car basically. So here is one of the 300 UK Red Edition Focus RSs, and you can see by contrast it has the proper black roof. It kind of makes it interesting, it's kind of unique. I would actually kind of almost like it, like more than one of the ones with a black roof. Obviously, if you're gonna have one, you want one of the orange ones, one of 50 in the world. The 300 of course are per territory, so there's 300 in the UK, there's 300 elsewhere, blah 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 blah. But yeah, unique. Well, this is actually, this is one of 50, this is technically one of one, but you can't have it, so that's kind of cool. So we finally have the new Fiesta revealed, and this is it. Now, we're looking at the outside obviously. As far as styling goes, I mean the front end is a little bit modified from the previous gen, but it's relatively similar. It's more evolutionary than revolutionary. It has some nice few bits, like these bits which are taken very much from the RS, apart from on the RS they have like opened up bits here for air to go through, which you don't get on the ST. It's more just a styling cue, but it's still pretty nice. That's the front end. What a lot of people have an issue with the rear end though, and we saw this last year with the new Fiesta, with the Vignale and the ST line. It's just a wee bit, some people would consider it a bit bland, you know, with just those little lights, and just not that exciting. They have went one bit further than the previous gen, and they put in this little bitty diffuser, tiny little fins. It's a bit of a pointless sort of thing. The fin, they're not really going to be doing anything. It's more just visual. They are a wee bit small. I would probably want bigger, but at least they made an attempt at doing something like that. You know, to be honest, I don't mind the looks. I think it looks quite well. I mean, it is kind of a polarizing thing, but a lot of polarizing is probably the one word. If I was going to choose one word to describe the new ST, polarizing would be it. In terms of the looks, in terms of the engine, it's just a bit of an interesting polarizing vehicle. They're calling this Performance Blue, which is different from the old style of Performance Blue, but I think it looks quite well. It's somewhere in between, I guess somewhere between Spirit Blue and Nitrous Blue perhaps, but it's a nice shade of blue. Yeah. They have upped the price of these STs. They're going to be a little bit more expensive. They're going to be over 20,000, whereas the previous gen you would get for under 20,000, but that's just a sign of the times. Money's a different thing. So this is what a lot of the controversy with the new ST is about, the engine. So as you may or may not know, it is a 1.53 cylinder, down only 0.1 of a litre of displacement, but obviously losing one cylinder. The problem that a lot of people might find, especially people like myself, are that I like to fiddle with stuff, and this is a smaller engine from factory, but it's pushing out similar to amount of power to the MP215 of the previous generation, so it comes more highly strung from the factory. But then for people like me who like to fiddle with things, I would want to up the power more and more. And the question is it going to be reliable? We just don't know. It hasn't been tried and tested yet. We've seen with the RS, whenever they redesigned to a smaller engine, reliability issues, partly due to, you would perhaps say, ineptitude at the factory with the wrong head gasket, but we just don't know. Can we push this hard, or will it blow up? We just don't know. Probably not. I mean, it's probably okay. And there is also the point to note that if you roll up to a car meet and say, oh, check out my new 3-cylinder engine, some people may look at you a bit funny. So it's almost a bit of a stigma losing it, but you know, it's really a personal thing. You know, can you get past the fact that it has smaller numbers, you know, in terms of its physical layout, but still makes decent amount of power? I mean, it looks nice. Similar kind of layout. I was expecting it to be a similar kind of layout to like the 1-litre ZTEC S engine, the 1-litre EcoBoost with the turbocharger around here, but it's actually around the back, much like the previous gen. But this is completely different. It is a very different machine indeed. So it'll be interesting to see what people do with it. Mountchin, Revo, all those different companies. How far will they push it? How far can we push it? Time will tell. Right, so this is the interior of the new ST. So this for me is one of the nicer parts of the new ST. You still got these nice Recaro ST logo seats, very, very similar to the previous gen, hug you in a very similar way, just a slightly updated shape, just a nicer color perhaps as well. There's none of that sort of grey color that you have in mine. So then the steering wheel is very much inspired by the RS, except obviously ST. Then you've got this fully digital display, the fully digital cluster with all the little screens and whatnot. And then of course this thing, which is probably the more polarizing part of the interior, which is this sort of thing that looks like it's just an iPad has been super glued onto the dash. But of course it's running the Sync 3 system, which is like super nice big touchscreen display, and you don't have all those crazy millions of buttons that you had in the previous gen. So I actually think it's pretty cool. It works really well whether you like it or not. One thing is, again, just like the previous ST, this bit up here, up on the dash, is kind of just like this soft touch plastic. It's kind of disappointing. I know that last year, whenever they released, they had the Vignale version of the new Fiesta, and it had lots of nice leather up around here and all here. And in the door cards as well, there's a little bit of leather here, but in the Vignale, this is all leather, whereas it's just hard, cheap-ass plastic in the ST, which is kind of disappointing because I would always like to think that the ST is the top of the range model. I know that the Vignale is considered a luxury model, but in what I would consider the top end model, I would like a little bit more nicer materials. There's some of this, which I'm assuming is fake carbon, if you can see that, but that's, you know, much of a muchness. It's not really, you know, it doesn't really matter. If you like fake carbon, then it's cool. If you don't, then I guess it's not. They have made this leather now. They've taken some of my advice, because that was just cheapy plastic before, so that is a nice little bit of an upgrade. And very similar, you got more some fake carbon down here, but all in all, the interior I think is definitely an upgrade from the previous Gen ST, but it's maybe not perfect. There is room for improvement in the future, but the leather on the steering wheel feels real nice. It feels, again, very similar to the RS. So yeah, that's the interior. So I remain unconvinced. I'm not really too sure about the engine. Looks-wise, I think it's okay, but the engine, I'm just not quite sure. So do you like it? Can you get past the engine thing? Can you get past the looks? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Throw a comment down below. Let's get a discussion going about this new ST. So the question is, new Fiesta ST, friend or foe? You be the judge.